Lesson 1-1, Variables and Expressions. Welcome to our first online lesson for 8th grade. Before we begin, I want to go over a little bit about note-taking since you will be doing that while you watch this video and videos from now on. So a couple things to just remember. When you are note-taking, remember that outline format. So important concepts are to the left and smaller details you just kind of indent. Notice how I used bullet points in this example. Whenever you want to pause the video, you can do that, and I encourage you to do so you can write down things and get examples copied down. Each problem or example from the lesson should be noted in your notes. So if you see a new heading on a lesson, problem 1, problem 2, make sure you're writing down examples for each of those. Also, if you see new vocab words, you want to stop the video and get those definitions written down. At the end of the lesson, there's a lesson check. This can vary in length, but make sure you are doing all of those questions and bringing them to class, and they can be part of your notes. All right, here we go. So our first lesson of 8th grade algebra is called Variables and Expressions. This is something you've seen before, so it should be a review. Basically, whenever we talk about algebra, we're talking about something that's unknown. We usually use a variable. A variable is a symbol, usually a letter, a lot of times the variable x or a or b, that represents some value, but we don't know what it is. We're usually trying to solve for it. Well, we have two kinds of expressions. There could be an algebraic expression, that's a mathematical phrase that includes a variable, or a numerical expression. This is a mathematical phrase that only involves numbers, no variables. So let me show you an example. If I wrote 2 plus 2, this is a numerical expression. Notice there's no equal sign. That's because it's an expression. Expressions don't have equal signs, they're just phrases. But this is numerical because there are only numbers and operation symbols, no variables. If I wrote 3 plus a, this is an algebraic expression because it involves a variable. Okay, so that's the difference between the two. When you're writing algebraic expressions, it's important that you know these words that mean operations. So words that mean addition, words that mean subtraction, words that mean division or multiplication. If you don't remember these, this is a good time to write these down. All right, we're going to need those words because our first problem, so this is that example I was talking about, make sure you write these down, is writing expressions using addition and subtraction. So we're going to be looking for words that mean adding and subtracting. So in example A, 32 more than a number n. They want you to write this word phrase as an expression. So this is the end product over here. So 32 more, well, more I know means add. 32 more than a number. So they took a number n, you can name a variable, they gave you one in this case, and we're going to add 32. Example B, 58 less than a number, or 58 less a number n. Less means subtraction, so I know I'm going to have a subtraction sign. Now with subtraction, order matters. So read it again, 58 less than a number n. That means we have the number, oh, sorry, I keep reading this wrong. 58 less a number n. So we have the number 58 and we're subtracting n from that number. They can get confusing, so make sure you really read closely. Here's the got it example. What is an algebraic expression for 18 more than a number n? Here's that word that means add more than a number n, so I have the number n and I want 18 more. I would do n plus 18. All right, next is example. Same thing, we're writing expressions, but this time we're using multiplying and dividing. 8 times a number n. Times means multiply. So you can write it a couple ways. You can use that x for multiplying, you can use that dot for multiplying, or if you write the numbers and letters close together, we know that means multiplying. Stay away from the x because that looks like a variable. So we like to use the dot or the numbers close together. All right. The quotient, well, that means dividing of a number n and 5. In this case, with division, order matters, so whatever they list first comes first. quotient of a number n, so they did n divided by 5. They also wrote it as a fraction because that's the same thing, n divided by 5. Let's try the examples. So I'm looking at A. 6 times a number n. 6 times a number n. Also like this. B. The quotient, so that's dividing, of 18, because they listed it first, and a number n, or 18 divided by n. Let's read C. Do the phrases 6 less a number y and 6 less than a number y mean the same thing? The answer is they do not. 6 less a number y means here's 6, and we're going to take away y. The other one, 6 less than a number y, means we start with y and we have 6 less than that. That's confusing. Go back and read these and look at how I got my answer. Oops. All right, now you'll have to write some. They'll give you the word phrase, but they'll want you to write an expression with 2 operations, meaning we're adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing, two of those. So example A, 3 more than twice a number x. So they wrote, here's twice a number x, 2 times x, and 3 more. So they added 3. It would be okay if you had 2x plus 3 on the other side. That's the same thing. Example B, 9 less than the quotient of 6 and a number x. Because of order of operations, we want to worry about this quotient first and then subtract 9. So quotient of 6 and a number x is 6 divided by x, which they noted here in a fraction, and then it's 9 less than that. So you subtract 9. Order matters. Example C, the product of 4 and the sum of a number x and 7. So you have to read this and decide, well, what's going to come first, the multiplying or the adding? In this case, you've got grouping going on. So the product of 4 is one thing being multiplied, 2, a grouping, the sum, meaning adding, of a number x and 7. So 4 is being multiplied. You need these grouping symbols to x plus 7. We'll do a couple examples. What is an algebraic expression for each word phrase? 8 less than the product of a number x and 4. So for example A, I notice there's a product of a number x and 4, so x times 4. I'm going to rewrite that as 4x, and then it's 8 less than that, so I subtract 8. All right, example B, twice the sum of a number x and 8. Well, sum means add. So x is being added to 8, grouping symbols because you want that to stay together, and it's twice that sum. That means multiply by 2. 2 times x plus 8. Example C, the quotient of 5 and the sum of 12 and a number x. So it's a division problem. It's 5 being divided by a sum. So another grouping, 12 and x. All right, my last example for this lesson is doing the backwards version. This time they're going to give you the written expression. Can you come up with the words? So here they saw 3x. They wrote 3 times a number x, or the product of 3 and a number x. Both mean the same thing. I'll do 2 examples here. I see a number x plus 8.1. I could say something like 8.1 more than a number x for A. All right, I'm going to do D as an example. I see 5 times x and they subtracted 1. I'm going to say it's 1 less than the product, sorry for my handwriting, of 5 and x, or you could say 5 and a number x. Go back and look at those more closely if that was confusing. Alright, that brings us to the end of our first lesson, algebraic expressions. I want you to do this lesson check, 1 through 6. Bring these answers to class along with your notes. Good luck.